What are we doing?
I don't know what the fuck Dave's waiting on.
We're all waiting for Dave.
Hey, that's so crazy. Your shirt, bro. That's how I'm trying to be in Sean shit to Beavis and Butthead.
Like it.
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna wear my Beavis and Butthead shirt next weekend. Next week, I mean. Should I put it on now? Nah, it's gonna take too much.
Don't be gay. We'll be gay if we're twinking.
Oh.
Twink.
Well, you and Dante already matched.
Say what?
You and Dante already matched tanks that one time.
Oh, yeah.
Match with all y'all faggots. Oops. No
Hey,
offense to faggots.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode, I don't know what the number is, of the Daily Hangover.
3? Is that hard?
It might be 3, it might be 4. Shit,
It's 3.5 because we're doing
Okay.
1.5.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
3.5.
yeah, okay.
So,
5.7.
I just want to go around the room real quick, see how everybody's doing. What's up, Chief? Anything new?
Chief right here.
Oh, hey. High class, you know what I'm saying?
Zeus, man. Hey, congrats on the new video, man.
Zeus right here.
Everybody's feeling it, man.
Dude, yeah. When I tell you, like, people's, like, feedback is, like, making me, like, happier to wake up, bro. Like, that shit's real, man.
That's what it's all about, dude.
I'm so-
Lovely.
Well, you
Lovely.
did a good job, man. That's why I told you to be proud of it, man. Cause
Thanks, dude. I appreciate that, man.
What up, Rock?
Yeah. Hi.
Rock is in the building, y'all.
He is right here to me.
He's here and he's ready to rock.
We're all playing the wrong direction.
I know we're all just like, he's right here.
Life is here.
But it's flip mode, so is he really here or is he here?
Everyone's
Flip mode squad.
Flip mode.
Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Come up here.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Tay, for interrupting the podcast to present your dog. Hi, Carly. What's going on, Tay?
Hey!
What's up, guys? That's my dog, Carly. Everything's good, kosher.
The dog's, never mind.
And new to the show today, we got
It's good.
C Suave. What's up, C Suave? How you doing, man?
That just says suave.
It says C Suave.
It's suave.
It's
Suave.
suave.
The S is silent.
It says
The S is
Suave.
silent.
What's the C stand for?
The C is the S sound. The S is silent.
It says Suave.
Quav.
Introduce yourself, man. What's going on?
Hey, what up? What up? What up?
All right, great introduction. Thank you.
I think his beard was talking. I don't know if his mouth was
The C is for his beard.
Yeah.
If you see him turn around and get on his knees, he ain't gay. He just got to pray 5 times a day. So he might have to.
All he can do is drink water right now.
All right, so we missed last week, but had a lot going on. I had my birthday. I
We
got a little toasty. I got challenged to a foot race,
Oh,
and
we need that. We need to see that, man.
I don't have the video yet, but next week I'll have it. My
Get that shit out
my
of here.
friend's neighbor's got the surveillance footage, and he's gonna.
That's
Hey,
even better.
it would be hilarious if it was recorded off of a person's house camera.
That's
on his surveillance camera, man.
You just see her running.
what it is.
For
That's
real?
what he- yeah, that's what he just did.
I got challenged to the foot race.
He just called it surveillance just because.
It's 3 a.m. I get challenged to the foot race. I can't back down. So
Of course not.
he wanted to do it off a gentleman's bet. I said no, $1,500. He said,
Whoa.
man, I'm not taking $1,500 from you. He said $5. I said 20. He said, all right. So we shook on 20, and man, I got pumped up, dude. I took my shirt off, dog. Look, I haven't ran a sprint in 2 years, dog. Like, I had my bands on, and so we take off, and this motherfucker is like a cheetah, bro. Like, boom, he takes off, and I'm like, how is he pulling away from me? There's no way. Like, I'm super fast.
Are you? You like Tekashi out here?
Absolutely not.
Have y'all seen that joke? Have y'all seen it?
Yeah.
So
I saw. You see the one where it's like he's the fastest man alive, and then
that's the best one, dude.
Yeah, but
That's the best one.
He's running from like the Indiana Jones boulder and shit. his bun, bro, that was the best part. It was
his editing so perfect too.
Yeah, whoever that was is a genius.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, we have to show that clip.
I was waiting for him to do like the trippy.
I thought that's what they did.
No, the one I saw wasn't that music. It was some other music. But it was the same concept.
Yeah.
So
I love the internet sometimes.
As this guy starts to pull away from me, I'm like, man, I gotta kick on the boosters, right? But I ain't had no boost left. So what happened was my upper body boosted forward, but my legs just couldn't keep up, dog, and I just tumbled straight forward. And I
just leaned further down.
My elbow, I just dove straight down. There was no stop.
I could totally see Dave like turning into a bowling ball and then just beating him, like just rolling faster than he was running.
I wish, dude, because then I'd be $20 richer. But I'm fucking injured and poor now.
You could have lost $1,500 though, man. It was a good bet.
I know. I'm glad he stopped me from that.
You actually won $1,400 in that race.
I won. I'm a winner.
Yeah. Look at it that way.
So, that being said, I'm just announcing my retirement from track and field. I know out there. I know that it's too early, but I can no longer participate in this sport.
How did you guys get started on racing? Like, how did y'all what happened there?
Well,
were you so drunk that everything kicked in right when you started talking about racing?
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Fuck is going
so fast,
on?
yo. He's so fast.
That's Tekashi 69.
That nigga was gone.
He's just laid up in a hospital bed right now.
Nah, he out. He good.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
It was not bad.
Even outside of autographs, man.
So good. It's so good.
Look at how well they edited him running.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's seamless.
Perfect. He even moved.
He juked him.
He juked around the bike.
That tickles.
That's
That
perfect.
tickles my funny bone.
That's perfect.
That is good stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's out, man. I know he put some videos up of him out in the street and out in Brooklyn signing autographs. I've heard a few conspiracies that it was a setup, like he set it up on his own for publicity, but I just don't believe that. I think they got him. I think he was out here talking too much shit and they got his ass.
What do you need publicity for if he had Nicki Minaj
You don't
on the
need
song
it.
and he has?
You don't need it.
Yeah, he
I
got.
don't get it.
I think he got 16 million views on the
I'm
video
not buying that.
in like 24 hours or 12 hours.
My thing is, I thought he paid like a gang, like a legitimate gang, like a lot of money to protect his ass. You know what I'm saying? So where were they at? He's always with them cats.
He's just
They throwing up gang signs together. He pays them. Those are his bodyguards.
I mean, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I don't know either. Maybe not. Maybe he was like, I don't need y'all. Take the night off. I'm good.
I heard the people he run with is like Treyway or something like that, right?
Yeah. Whatever.
So what I heard people talking about was where was Treyway when he got his ass whooped?
That's what I'm asking.
He
So
said, did y'all look in? Did y'all see like he explained it on TMZ?
What'd he say?
He said that he already went home and he was heading out to finish up some stuff with Nicki Minaj for the video, like do editing and stuff at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. And he said his driver, it's like two stories. One is that his driver or whoever he was riding with got stopped by cars on the highway and they got out, made his driver get out and then like busted upside his head. and then he passes out, and it ends up like in the back of a car, and he gets up. And like jumps out of the car or something like that. And the other one is that he's in the driveway of his house after editing,
That's the one I heard.
and people run up, beat him upside his head, and then they like run in the house or some shit. It's like more to it, but they were able to like they ran in the house while his kid was in there and like the baby mom, and like stole a whole bunch
They
of
took
jewelry.
him for a ride.
That's why he said it was an
Went
inside
back
job.
home.
He said he thinks it was an inside job.
Right. So
Like
is
someone he knows.
it his boys that did it? Is that
It's
why
an
they had that
inside
night
job.
off? Like,
He said it was an inside job, so he got to think it was somebody. Because when he said it was an inside job, what's his name was like, well, you only rode with a small circle of people,
Right.
so
Right.
inside job, you got to,
Right.
who was it?
Then I saw him
I
in the
mean-
street with some new bodyguard too. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I think he has bodyguards. The people that I don't think he hires a gang. I just think that's his neighborhood bloods that he grew up around, and then he just like, hey, everybody wears some red.
Right.
And then the perception is that everyone's in a part of a gang, but I mean, it could be some people who's not, some people who are. And in the video, it just shows a whole bunch of people. But I can get everybody in my old neighborhood to get together and wear purple and be like,
that's what I would do if I got famous. I go to all my old homeboys. Like, y'all gonna be my security task force because I trust y'all more than anybody else.
But I mean, he said he's just getting his car to go finish editing a video at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody had to know what moves he was making, though, right?
He was with somebody going there. It's just that everybody was, I mean, he wasn't strapped up.
I close.
Hello.
So, fucked up situation. He made out alive. That's a good thing. I think we need to roll into a little bit of history lesson here. You know what, Curtis? You got a little. What happened today in history, Curtis?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
You gonna let me run it? You gonna let me run it?
Yeah, what happened today in history, C.
All right. So today, July 25th, the world's first test tube baby was born in 1978.
How do you feel, Justin? Do you feel normal?
Oh, ha. We already said it was Curtis.
All right, Curtis, thank you for your one and only contribution to the show. I appreciate that.
Oh, man. Damn.
Hey, what's up? Hey, I got something real quick. What's up with the? All right, so there,
Hey.
LaShawn McCoy. Did y'all hear about the allegations on this guy?
Yeah,
What's going
man.
on with
I
that?
heard. It's
All right,
fucked up.
so one of her friends, Cecily Billups, posted a post on Twitter like immediately after all this shit. Immediately, like before all this shit dropped, the pictures that we see now of her all busted up is the pictures that this girl posted on her Twitter feed, and it started all the bullshit. And she said, "This is my beautiful best friend. This is my beautiful best friend, Delisha Gordon. I can't fucking believe this. Sending dudes in her house to pistol whip her and rob her for what? Now the world knows what we know. You will pay for this. You will not get away with this. More details, blah, 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 Instagram shit." And she posted the picture of her friend all busted up and shit. So then a couple minutes later, or a few hours later, she posted another post that was kind of like retracting her previous statements. But I thought I had the link here, but I don't. She was kind of retracting her previous statements, but she was still saying that LaShawn McCoy had something to do with it and that they were going to get him. Then now the whole shit has changed where she doesn't think that he had anything to do with it, and she don't know what's going on. And she has some jewelry that she was supposed to return back to a jewelry shop because apparently jewelry stores or high-end jewelry stores will loan out jewelry to celebrities and stuff when they go to events, and then you're supposed to return the jewelry after a while. And LaShawn, she's living at LaShawn. The house that they broken into wasn't her house. It was LaShawn McCoy's house that she's staying in, that he's been asking her to leave for a while. She's got her kids and shit in there. So
Where she go to the hood jeweler? They like broke in to get their shit back?
no, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, maybe it's got something to do with the jeweler, because she said that the robbers or the people that broke into her house kept asking for a specific jewelry, like the ring on her finger, or yeah, that's the picture of her right there, like the ring on her finger and stuff like that. So like this kind of goes into what to my rant when it comes to like how is somebody supposed to trust these women that come with these allegations that they got beat up? And this wasn't even her. This was her friend that jumped the gun, kind of. So I can't even blame this girl specifically because she had nothing to do with this. It was all her friends doing.
Damn.
But how is anybody supposed to take people serious when they do shit like this and then they retract their statement and they kind of, for a lack of better words, ruin it for everybody
Retractions don't
else?
mean shit because once that original message is out there, that's going to be the standing message, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now the next girl that comes along and actually does get her ass whooped by a dude, you know what I'm saying? There are already people thinking that
they're gonna double think. It's like
so this is the last thing they need to see before the next girl that really does get her ass whooped. Nobody fucking believes.
Well, it's not only that. What it really is it's the same shit that they talk about with their girls. Like, just imagine they were like, this shit happened, and then they got on a 4-way phone call with all their 4 best friends. They'd be like, that motherfucker McCoy had his boys come over here. I know he did, but now you have social media as your platform. So it ain't your little close circle that you're chit-chatting with no more.
Everybody's got a platform.
You're just talking that shit now on social
it's just
media.
you.
The facts behind it is just
no
you
one to
talking
stop
to
you.
your girl. Right, exactly. But now you have that platform. That's all it is. Now people just have a bigger platform to talk about, the same shit that they would talk about in their smaller circles.
Yep.
So
that's absolutely correct.
And then they get to say something wild, and they get likes and comments. And now it's a whole thing about them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not saying there aren't people who get fucked up.
Can you blame these women for extorting these athletes?
Can I blame them? I mean,
yeah, like can you honestly blame them?
Yes, I blame them.
I mean, like if you were a female that was fine as hell, like a banging ass, like fucking rap video body, and you constantly had celebrities around you, and you knew that you could probably get away with something like this, could you really blame a girl for doing it?
Are you talking
about? Blaming? Could you blame someone? Yes. I mean, does it go against my moral values, or like, would I do the same thing? I wouldn't do the same thing because putting rape on somebody, or
that's pretty much what I'm asking.
Could he beat it up on somebody? Like that could tarnish a person. No, and with that body is the dedication you got on that body. You could dedicate it to making some money, some kind of other way.
Right.
Don't tarnish somebody's whole reputation just because you want some money.
Right.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I also don't have a pussy, so.
No, there's nothing to blame. Number one.
On the other end of the spectrum, could you not say that some of these motherfuckers out here, some of these celebrities, some of these athletes kind of deserve the shit? They you know what I'm saying? Like, not all these motherfuckers are innocent.
Yeah. A lot of them have it coming.
Yeah. I mean, some people do it. But, I mean, just like you're saying, if girls start doing that just to make money or do whatever they're doing, and then even to the point they're doing it so much, and then they retract statements, then it's going to start making them look bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to start being like, okay, before we were like on your side 100%. And now it's like, oh, now you're retracting statements. Now it might not have happened like that. Now, like it's going to make the people that are getting hurt more, it's going to make it harder on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody have anything profound to say about it?
Don't hit women.
Titties.
Don't hit women. Except with your dick.
Nah, see, I think what happened, she probably did it like she's saying, like out of spite. Like,
you saying she probably deserved it, Zach? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
some bitches need to get hit sometimes.
No.
Go ahead.
Come here, bitch.
How many bitches have you slapped, Zach?
No, I think
give me a number. Just a number.
How many hoes do you smack?
How many?
How many, Zach? How many girls have you smacked?
None.
8.
In the face? Like
8 bitches? Zach slapped 8 bitches, guys.
Double zero bitches.
Now I'm gonna have allegations before I even make it. Oh my God. No, I think she fucked up. I think she thought that it probably was McCoy, and then she realized maybe it wasn't. So I think doing shit like that, like if she really, really thought he did it, then I could see why she'd feel justified in doing it. But if you don't know for a fact someone did something, you can't do shit like that.
That's not how girls operate, also, though.
I think you're right. I think in the heat of the moment when the cops were there, and she was putting two and two together in her head. She's all busted up. The cops are saying, "Do you know anybody that you think could have had? Do you have any enemies or anybody that could?" Yes, it was my ex-boyfriend. I know it was him. He could, she probably jumped the gun and probably lost her shit.
Right. It's no reasonable thinking at that time.
Yeah. Right. Not justifying it, but I think if I thought that, I would do the same shit. But no, not. If I knew 100%.
Do you think that as a woman in the back of her mind while she was conjuring up all this shit, do you think that her getting paid and suing him for whooping her ass was in the back of her mind about that big ass check she was gonna get at the end of the lawsuit?
Subconsciously, I think so.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even her.
There was no reason.
Right.
I mean, you can still get some of it too, though.
But it wasn't.
I'm just saying.
I don't think it was her that made it come out that way. It was her homegirl.
It was her homegirl. Her homegirl was getting greedy. That's what it was. She was like, "She gonna be my best friend after this."
We about to get paid.
On Twitter.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was her, man. That's how I know it happened.
He crazy.
He hated me since they started getting together.
I always hated him.
And he's got a gambling problem.
And he be cheating on her all the time.
Yep. I told her. Good for nothing.
Now but the thing is, like, she was mentioning shit like he kicked the dog one time and the dog got liver failure and they had to put the dog down. And then another time where he beat the kids up because they wouldn't tie their shoes or some shit like that. She was mentioning specific shit which led me to believe that one of those got to be true. Like, he might not have beat the kids, but maybe he did kick the dog.
Okay, so maybe he didn't beat the kids and kick the dog. That means he would have whooped her ass instead of hiring somebody to whoop her ass, right? you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's got an aggression problem, like, it would have been him putting the paws on her. He wouldn't have hired some goons to come in and fuck his girl.
I think LaShawn McCoy is a smart enough man.
If that was the thing, I would totally hire somebody.
Not get a bitch back by going to her house and beating the shit out of her.
But come to your house? You're going to send some dudes to your house to beat up your girl. Do you think that... Yeah. Like,
get the bitch out of my house, bro.
To get jewelry that belongs to a jeweler, something's going on there. I don't think somebody's gonna put the puzzle together. But
well, regardless of whether he was behind doing that, if the things Dante was saying, like kicking the dog and beating up the kids over slight shit, everyone's gonna blame it on CTE. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, well, LaShawn McCoy's a running back. He's been getting hit his whole life. He's probably got CTE." Not excuse.
He has CTE.
Exactly. The percentage of him not having it is like point something, 1% maybe. Right. So like,
he's been playing football his whole life.
Yeah, it's not.
Most NFL players have it before they even enter the NFL, dude.
Yeah.
Have what? I'm sorry, I missed it.
CTE, the concussion disease.
Oh yeah.
Which you don't even have to get concussions to get it. Like, it obviously rapidly.
It's just as long as your brain is rattling, you're going to get some kind of
Yeah, boxers get the same thing.
Yeah.
They kind of get it way worse.
And you know what's fucked up, dude? Will Smith tried to tell these motherfuckers about it a long time ago, and nobody would listen to him.
Yeah. He made a movie about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the African.
Well, that's the thing is now so many people know about it. Now it's real easy to come up with allegations. Now we're having this conversation because he's running back. He might not have kicked the kid or the dog or beat the kids, but because he's a football player and probably has it, it's pretty hard to not,
they're laying,
like the PTSD.
They're laying the groundwork for the lawsuit is what they're doing. You got to come out with these
post-traumatic stress syndrome that people get when they get out of the military.
You got to build a history around somebody for the civil lawsuit. They're just laying the groundwork for the money, man. That's all they're doing right now. Because regardless, he's going to get sued over it. Regardless.
I mean, going back on retracted statements, I mean, that tampers with the evidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed anymore. If she stuck to the story, it's usually when they stick to the story and follow it through with something.
Right, happens. You never redact. You always like once you start going dirtbag.
Now you're not trustworthy.
Dirtbag the entire time. You can't just like all of a sudden get a conscience. No, dude.
Maybe.
Once you go down the road of bad, you have to stay bad. You got to follow it through till the end. Because the minute you try to turn, they're gonna fuck you, man. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? You
Might
do
as well
some
run
fucked
that
up
karma
shit.
into the dirt. You know what I'm
You
saying?
you run with it, dude. You have to follow it through. I mean, you'll pay your
You pull a
consequences at the
David, you
end.
just run right into the ground, dog.
Yeah, you know, he pull a. You pull back like it's your birthday and you run.
You run.
Run.
Sometimes you lose $20.
Sometimes you don't. But
Sometimes you bet a man $1,500 and you're glad you didn't.
Sometimes you lose more than $20.
speaking of a bet man, there's a little segment I want to do about hungover heroes in history. And
Right.
The guy gonna be.
the man we're going to celebrate today is old Blue Eyes himself, Frankie Sinatra.
Ooh.
And
Was it really blue eyes? I feel like all the pictures was like either painted or black and
no, they call him Old Blue Eyes. That's his nickname. But I think his real nickname should have been like old Red Bloodshot Eyes.
Well, I tell you,
Did he have ties to the mafia?
Well, yeah, he absolutely did have ties to the mafia.
shout out Getty Images, you know what I'm saying?
Frank Sinatra, for an alcoholic and a man that lived the life he did, he lived to the ripe old age of 82. In my opinion, that is fucking phenomenal. If I could live the life that man lived and live 82 years of it, good fucking job.
Yeah, right.
He sold over $150 million records, and we're talking 150 million back between what 35 and
Holy shit.
1935 is when he started. Yeah.
you understand how much that is now? That's like,
Billions.
Yeah, it's a billion records probably. If you think about the population growth.
Streaming, imagine if there was streaming back then, he would have been broke record.
well,
Like
he's
when
probably
Frank
doing
Sinatra was making music, he was one of like 10 people making music.
Bro, I bet money he's doing numbers right now
100%.
streaming. People still listen to Sinatra.
His family's still getting paid. Oh hell yeah, people are still listening.
Yeah, he's
You go to any casino, you go to any late night shows, cabarets. I mean, like radio stations that specialize in that.
Michael Bublé made a whole career off of sounding kind of like him.
No doubt, dude. He was the 2010 plus version of Sinatra, and women still love it. My wife loves it.
I've actually only heard one Frank Sinatra song, and then
You've heard more, you just didn't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he was 18 years old is the year that Prohibition ended. All right. So he came up like in his teens through Prohibition. So he saw a lot of the Prohibition era bullshit. By the time he's able to drink at 18, because I'm pretty sure back then it was 18, maybe 21, I don't fucking know, but close enough. For whatever reason, that whole entire rank of people that were in his age, they were all just massive alcoholics, you know, all the way up through like Don Draper and the Mad Men era.
You say some reason like you don't understand why. I know
Well,
exactly.
well, it's because of Prohibition, right?
Right.
Because you have it held back. You have it held back like a kid
Right.
who's been sheltered his entire life, and then they go to their first fucking party and they're passed out by 8:30. You know what I mean? It's just so he came up in the ranks with people like Humphrey Bogart, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., all fucking career alcoholics, all great showmen. But there was definitely something going on with the
he had a cigarette. I'm sorry to cut you off, but he had a cigarette and he had a cup in his hand in almost every picture.
That's what he did. So one of the stories about him and his fanatic alcoholism is he was gambling at a casino, and he was the headliner of the show that was going on that night. He went out to the casino. He ran up $500 in debt. Didn't want to pay it, so he disappeared for 2 days straight. Like, didn't go to his show. Didn't pay his fucking debt. Disappeared for 2 days. So 2 days later, he shows up in a golf cart, smashes through the front fucking glass door of the casino. He's got his wife in the fucking passenger seat. He gets out of the golf cart, takes a fucking lighter and tries to start lighting the fucking curtains on fire. And he's so drunk he just passes out underneath the curtain.
Imagine how strong that alcohol was back then too.
You straight whiskey.
Absinthe.
And cocaine.
The dude smashes a golf cart through the casino. Imagine if you were in Vegas and you run a golf cart through a casino like entrance, right? They're taking you to the back room and probably strapping you down.
Yeah, if Tommy Davis did that shit, they would have shot him on sight.
They didn't even arrest him. They still let him get out, run around like a madman, and try to light the curtains on fire.
Like, it's Frankie.
They couldn't even stop Frankie. So he was such an animal, dog, that his friends and family used to take shifts like throughout the week on who's gonna hang out with him that night. Like everybody had a day.
What? Frank Sinatra?
Yes, because he went out every single day.
But if your cousin was if your fucking cousin, then shit, if my cousin was Will Smith and I got a day of the week to hang out with him, you goddamn right I'd look forward to that day every motherfucking week.
Yeah, you're right. Is it Thursday yet?
It's like we going to the club.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know we're going to
have to Cali. We're going to have a good time.
They probably could only handle one day.
Like, you can't even plan a vacation around that day because you got obligations like that. I can only vacation Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Take the picture off, bro.
I really want this job, but every Wednesday I got to go on vacation.
I don't work Wednesdays.
Like, if you try to make me, I'll quit. Do you know who I know?
I'm not gonna do it.
Y'all get Wednesdays off here? Okay.
You off now?
And I'm gonna be so fucked up. I need Thursday off too.
Well, I get half a day Thursday. I come in at noon. You know?
That's not bad.
You can get a serving job easy with that vacation. They'll love you.
But back then they didn't give a shit about alcohol. Like, you come into work drunk, you drink at work. Like, there was no.
It was like regular.
It was real. It was living life the way it should be lived. They lived it back then. Like, you want to talk to
I don't know if we should be that drunk all the time.
Except they all hated black people.
But it's not. It's actually. Let me finish my thing.
Except for Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was actually
That's
cool.
That's true.
All right. So
this guy right here.
So one time, he was on his fourth wife, and she was tired, and she was like. She said, "Man, I'm gonna stay in tonight. I can't go out." And he said, "And I
want a divorce."
You're going, Barbara. You're going tonight, and you're going every night, and it's non-negotiable."
That's how he looked at her too. That's exactly how he looked at her. Look at me, Barbara.
Barbara is non-negotiable. You're going out tonight.
Listen,
every night.
Frank Sinatra.
And this nigga fucked up, and he not paying no attention. He cursing at her and shit. He think it's hilarious. And this nigga, who's that? Jack Nicholson. He like, I'm gonna just look away because she won't.
Jack Nicholson.
Did you say Barbara or bitch?
Look at that. He said bitch.
I said bitch.
You said that? Look,
you said bitch though.
He said, look, it was all right. He said, okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go get dressed. He said,
scroll over, Chief. That's how he looked at her after he said bitch.
Yeah, you heard me. Excuse me, Sinatra.
Bitch, you heard me.
And look, not only was he a phenomenal singer, a phenomenal entertainer, he also
his buddy was like, "You heard him, bitch."
Had some nice quotes. All right. So one of his great quotes that I love is, "Alcohol might be a man's worst enemy, but the Bible says, love your enemy." So,
ooh.
That's definitely a quote for you.
He got him. He got him. He got him.
Bring it, Jesus.
He also. He also got another catchy little one-liner. I feel sorry for the people who don't drink. They wake up in the morning, and that's as good as they're ever going to feel that day.
Damn, that's so deep.
Yeah.
Captivated they are.
He's such an inspiration in my life. You don't even understand.
Yeah, I love this guy.
Like Hillary would never let me hang out with Frank. Like, she'd be like,
Every time you go out with him,
You guys are just like animals together. Like
you always got some girl in your ear.
you let him get to your head, David.
That's David right there.
Hey, that's back when cigarettes were healthy. The doctor prescribed them, Jones.
Right.
So you need to relax. Drink.
Yeah, chill out.
Smoke this whole carton and drink this liquor.
Have a square.
Light
Have a square.
Listen, go to the pharmacy.
a Lucy.
Go to the pharmacy. Get yourself some whiskey and cigarette.
You hear me? Run on down to the local market and get yourself a square.
Get some cocaine.
Call me and tell me how you feel in the morning.
Don't see my phone and do some blow.
Look, he said, that's all you need. Look at her. That's all you need.
All
He
right.
get some milk
He
right
needs
there.
some milk.
Look, and some Jack. No, have a good night. Trust me.
Milk, Bailey's, grain alcohol, cigarette.
Hey, that tray was definitely for cocaine.
Don't forget to
That's
hit
not,
your
yeah, that's
child.
not milk. That's a carton full of cocaine.
Yeah. He just dumps it out.
This dude got a half gallon of blow right there.
He just puts a straw in it. He said,
It's
Frank, you're
like those
doing it wrong.
Those
doing
Panera
it wrong,
straws,
Frank.
like the bubble teas.
Hey, but honestly, like, that's probably why the FBI watched him so hard, because you know the FBI was on Frank Sinatra hard. The FBI,
Yeah.
they were obsessed with Frank Sinatra. They watched Frank Sinatra for over 50 years, beginning in the 40s. They acquired over 2,500 documents, or individual, 2,500 pages of record on his ass. Mainly attached to like his mafia ties and his quote unquote communist ties or associations, alleged. But you know, no doubt, dude, he was friends with JFK. You know what I mean? Him and JFK are probably fucking two peas in a pod. So
And now his brain's 2 pieces on the back of that damn convertible.
damn.
My bad. Was that too dark? Was that too dark?
Frankie might have set him up.
Too soon?
That's like,
It's been a
that's
while,
a
see?
That's a Tekashi 6ix9ine shit right there. Set up, huh?
Damn.
Damn.
He got shot in the neck,
Yeah, I can find him.
but his brains blew out. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, so hang on a second, man. How did well, you're probably getting to this, but how did Sinatra die? Like just natural causes from drinking?
He was 82,
82?
and he died. Yeah,
Well, what happened?
he just died, man.
He was just old and died.
He just
82 wasn't bad back then.
Papa didn't wake up.
he just
Shit, my dad only made it to 80, and that was fucking 5 years ago. So 82 for then? That's bananas, bro.
That's a good
Your
life.
dad
man.
was 82?
My dad was 80. My bad. Yeah, AD. But yeah.
Damn.
That's
Yeah.
a good life, though,
You
bro.
got a lot of older brothers and sisters.
Sorta. There was a whole marriage before my mom, so I'm an only child for her, and
Oh, okay. I got you.
they're
Tell us your
way
life story,
older.
Zach.
But huh?
I said, tell us your life story.
Oh God, nah. We need 2 podcasts for that shit.
Yeah, we need a power hour for that shit. We need to come.
But yeah,
All right, so let me wrap this up. A little known fact that Sinatra actually did a lot of civil rights work too. He worked with Dr. King. He did some fundraising campaigns where he performed and stuff for Dr. King's movement. He also led a massive boycott in Nevada. They boycotted all the hotels and casinos. All the artists refused to play there if they would not admit black patrons and performers. So
Oh, shit. I think I remember something like that.
he
actually.
led the boycott in Nevada against any casino or hotel that refused.
I thought he was racist.
No. I mean, there may have, the thing is this, there may have been a time he was, maybe, but by you know, the time he kicked it with Sammy Davis Jr. and them cats. I mean, I don't
Right.
There may have been a time in his childhood, but no.
I've done zero research on this guy, so.
But he was also like super socialist, so I don't know. In my opinion, socialism and racism don't go hand in hand for the most part.
Yeah, for the most
Most
part.
I know about
For the
him
most
is
part, they
Frank
don't.
Sinatra.
And now what I know about Hitler,
Hitler was a socialist, apparently.
They all were.
Yeah, no, he was a sociopath.
He was. He was a communist. So, communism is socialism. Mussolini and what's the other one that Mussolini was? Fascism. Fascism is communism. Fascism is socialism. Communism is socialism. The only difference between the two is that communists take over the entire state, so the government runs all the businesses, the government runs everything and spreads it out. Whereas fascism, the government just applies heavy taxes to the corporations and regulates the corporations a lot heavier.
The only reason why socialism will never work is because it's run by humans, and humans are faulty.
Right.
Technically, on paper, socialism would work perfectly if we didn't have to rely on people. We could make a system where robots controlled everything. It would run perfectly fine. But because we got people that are fucking greedy and shit, just like
dictators only arise under socialism. We understand.
Right, yeah.
Dictators don't rise under conservatism. I just want to say shout out to Mr. Frankie Sinatra. I salute you.
Ew, Sinatra.
Frankie.
Frank Sinatra pizza. Does Frank Sinatra have something named after him, like food related, drink related?
Yeah, that's called the hot dog. They call it Frank's, like the Frankenfurter.
Is that real?
Oscar Mayer Frank's.
I hate you. I think you're a liar.
Hey, Frankie, baby, nice buns, and they just made a hot dog.
Is there a drink named after him?
I'm sure there is.
That'd be a cool. Would it be cool? Am I high? Like a cool theme for like a bar, just all drinks named after like famous people.
Like Buddy Holly.
Some bars like that, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's done that. Yeah, if you thought about it, somebody's done it before because you don't have any.
Probably. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Hey, I gotta run real quick. I'll be right back.
What do you mean?
You just said you retired from running and now you're
Dookie.
Now you got to run somewhere. Don't fall. You
Hey,
keep the knees up.
Justin, you're in charge. Thank you.
You gotta take a poo poo.
Oh shit, he's like gone. All right, fellas.
Oh, okay. Did you make that, Justin?
Which one? What you talking about?
His emblem on his shit.
On what? I don't see it. Oh, hold on. Let me see.
That's his profile picture for Zoom.
Oh, nah. I think he made that himself.
Oh, that looks like the picture you made of him in front and behind some shit though.
He be trying to be like me all the time. You know how he be.
I like it though. It's nice. Say savage. You gotta put that in black.
It probably says savvy on it. Savvy.
She probably made it and he tried to turn it into savage.
She showed him the effects and he was like, I got it from here. I got it.
Like, oh, it's perfect, honey.
What's good, Curtis? How you living out there? You said you coming back out here?
Yeah.
What kind of job did you get?
I don't know, man. My mom's friend hooked it up, and I was like, cool, I'll take it.
You even know what the job is?
Nah.
Where you at right now?
Probably some bullshit, though.
Oh, you in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
You don't
How does
like it out
everybody
there?
like new jobs?
Huh?
What you do, Rob?
What you doing in Oklahoma?
I do school, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weren't you going? You're not. Why did you? Like, what are you doing in Oklahoma? Where you working at?
UPS.
Oh, okay. You don't like it out there?
I'm just ready to come back.
Gotcha.
Do you like it though?
Yeah, it's cool.
I thought you had a girlfriend out there.
But not as good as home now.
Nah, man, it's never gonna
It's
be
nothing
good
as
as
good
home.
as home.
Nothing's good as home.
Never.
Florida is way better than Maryland, and I'll never go back.
Florida's better than Maryland if you don't have any friends.
Yeah. If you don't know people.
You can move anywhere if you don't have any friends.
Home is always better than everywhere. If I was born in Florida, you know,
Well,
nothing's better.
my thing is,
Nothing's
like,
better than Sarasota.
all right, to me, it's this way. Florida is a good place if you find a good area to live in to raise a family if you got family shit going on. But single, trying to mingle.
So it's PG County.
It ain't the
I think Florida is good if you're
PG
single.
County is not a good place to raise a family. at all.
That's debatable. There's good.
Depends on where.
Fuck that, dude.
Really nice parts of PG
Fuck
County.
that, dude.
I mean, I don't know. Yo, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I posted this thing that Young Gleesh. Y'all know who Young Gleesh is? DC rapper?
Yeah. You know I do.
He posted something. It made so much sense. He was like growing up, especially before gentrified. It was you grew up around so many black people, especially going to Glen Park and whatnot. So I realized coming to Florida, like I didn't realize how different it was. Like he was talking about how he never had to adjust his speech. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he never had to speak more proper because everybody spoke the same because it was like everyone was the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Then you go to another area and everyone's like, whoa, you talk weird. But it's like we never had to adjust how we spoke because everyone we spoke around was just like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's like
I just thought it was interesting. I
think it's like it blows my mind when I meet people from the hood and they have never they have never ever even left the city. They've never been out of the city that they live in. People go on vacations and shit. Yeah, they don't have to.
A lot.
They know the city like the back of their fucking hand, but they have never been out of fucking Bradenton. And I'm like, that shit blew my mind. Like, how have you?
Oh, wait, Bradenton?
Yeah, like Bradenton.
Shit,
you're talking about out there?
I got motherfuckers who never been out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, there's dudes that's never left DC. Like maybe
Oh
going.
yeah, I thought you were talking about DC. Yeah, man. DC city is different than Sarasota city. Like that's
a tri-state area though. That's a tri-state area. But places like Florida, like there are parts where people have never left their fucking county.
Right. I'm sure. Rock, how many people you know in Colorado that never left Pueblo or wherever?
Pretty much everybody I know.
Never left, right?
I'm the only guy that I fucking know that's like out of the area.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, are you in Colorado now?
No, I'm in Rhode Island. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that before. Yeah.
Yeah, New England, man.
But he's from Colorado. What I'm saying, he probably has friends in Colorado that's never left Colorado.
Yeah.
You know?
I have one that lives in LA. That's it.
So.
Damn.
That
is people like
common.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm. I think it's more common than we think.
Spread my wings, you know what I'm saying?
Can you imagine like the closed-mindedness of a person that's never even left the county that they live in?
Yeah.
Especially if they don't even have they don't have cable or access to any other
imagine the world that person lives in. Like, and that'll make you think like imagine a hood version of that, or imagine a backwoods country.
That's what they think the whole world. Their perception is the whole world.
Or imagine an inner city version of that. A person that's never left New York City. Like,
dude, when I told bro,
you're gonna be edgy if you go to a new environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know is throughout all of southern Colorado, all my friends are.
Are you drinking mouthwash, Justin?
They're all.
Nah, I'm just killing random bottles I had.
Okay.
They're all fucking.
This one.
They're all fucking first generation.
I wanted this one.
Well, baby bottles.
They're all dreamers. And
that one's next.
Yeah.
Let the man talk. Dang.
Would you say sorry, Rock? Go ahead.
I heard dreamer.
No, sorry, shit.
But all my friends, they were brought here from Mexico, so a lot of them have that hood mentality. They
from Colorado.
What do you brought here from Mexico though?
Yeah, they
brought them over. I thought we was trying to get rid of them. They took our jobs.
They
took our derbs.
That's nice shit.
God, you guys are on crack.
That's what he does.
Okay, go ahead. What do you mean they were brought over from Mexico? Like,
no, they were brought over with back
in the
early 90s.
Oh, through immigration. Okay, they immigrated here. Like their parents came.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all dreamers.
So they're like first generation Americans.
Immigrants.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I get it. I know. And the thing that you were talking about earlier about when Gleesh said, you never had to adjust the way you spoke, and I definitely get it, because I go into my job and I walk in and they're like, "Good evening, Dave," and I'm like, "Good evening, Dave."
Whoa there.
How you doing?
When I went on,
I'm doing very well. I do it.
The culture shock was real, bro. Like because I was in a different city like every night, So like everyone, I met the people like that you're describing in those towns. Like not every place I went, but a lot of places we did go to were those people, and they're like interrogating me because like, look at this new you talk weird. Where are you from? Blah blah. So they had never left where they lived, and I'm visiting their little world. Like you know what I mean? Like that shit was crazy.
They could probably spot you from a mile away, dude.
No doubt.
It blew my mind every night. Like I never got old. Like every single night, I can't.
Where were you?
Everywhere, man. We started here in Maryland, went up, played shows all through the East Coast, played in Canada, played shows all the way across to Cali, and then back down through Cali, then down through like Texas and all down to Florida, back up the east from Florida. It was crazy, bro.
What were you doing?
When my band went on tour. I was on tour for like 3 months.
Damn, that's awesome, dude. I didn't know you went on tour.
Yeah, bro. We did everything ourselves, man. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
It's an experience, man.
That's a lot of money stacked up to fucking do that. Y'all
Dude, we would work jobs, quit, go on tour for 2 weeks, work jobs, quit, go on tour for like a month, work jobs, quit, and then we went on tour for like 3 months. Then after that, we didn't do anything.
Well, the life of a musician, that's a hard life to live, man.
Bro, living out of a bag, Justin knows what that feels like. Living out of a bag.
Live, man, shit. You gotta really like
stay in hotels, bro.
You gotta dig deep.
Yeah.
You'll never play on a fucking stage in front of 100,000 people until you played these bars in front of 10, Sydney.
10, bro. 10's a good night.
That's a good show out.
Right. You know what I'm saying, though? You got to put in that work, though. You got to put in that work.
I know.
Hard work. So,
yeah.
I get it.
It sucks when wow, I'm not going to speak on behalf.
Hey, I'm going to change topics here a little bit. Did you guys hear about that Trader Joe's employee who died in L.A.? There was a dude who murdered his parents or some shit, and then he went into a Trader Joe's and held the entire Trader Joe's staff at hostage, and then the police fired into the fucking Trader Joe's and killed the Trader Joe's manager, not the guy. They killed an innocent lady.
Whoa!
This lady, yeah.
Who made that decision? What the fuck?
Hey, Justin, pull this up. Trader Joe's employee killed. So,
from what I heard, he was running into the Trader Joe's, and he had a weapon on him, and he had pointed it at the officers, and they shot at him, but they missed him, and the bullet went into the restaurant and hit the manager.
Yeah, there's the lady right there. Yep.
Yeah, that's her, the Asian-looking lady.
Yeah, man.
Well, she shouldn't have been working at Trader Joe's. I don't know. I'm just joking. That's
dumb bitch.
Yeah, that's messed
But no,
up.
he was inside the store already, though. They tried to fire inside the store. He was already in there.
So hold on. Was there a SWAT team? Was it regular cops?
No, these are LAPD, man. Like regular.
They're out here playing GTA and shit.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's ridiculous.
I chased you, but I ate too many donuts.
So, is that murder?
Yeah, he should be definitely
murder. Yes,
That's murder, right?
Yeah.
absolutely.
But cops have different laws. So
No, they don't. They don't
Yeah,
have
they do.
different laws. They have the
They
same
do.
laws. They run under the same constitution and the same laws we do.
I'm pretty sure that if a cop kills somebody, in a confrontation with like a suspect or something, and a civilian accidentally gets killed, he can't be charged with murder.
You don't open fire on somebody into a grocery store.
He was firing at the suspect, and he missed.
He fired
hit somebody
into the
inside
grocery store. Look at you can see where his gun was pointing, dude.
He was already in the restaurant.
Here, let's watch the footage, which is crazy.
When does he fire his gun?
It doesn't matter. You don't fire into a grocery store where there's kids and parents and school teachers and firefighters and people trying to get groceries so they can feed their families.
Hold on, you gotta name everybody, and crackheads and rapists and murderers and everyone. You just name it all.
You got to be politically correct now.
What they need to do is,
Make sure you
in a
name
situation like
everybody.
this, I can't blame the officer. The dude killed his parents, and he's already armed and dangerous. He gets out of the car. He's brandishing a weapon. The cops fire at him. he runs into the restaurant, somebody actually begins to get killed. That dude, that if he still survives, should get charged with her murder, not the officer.
I disagree. Thank you. I think that officer should be charged with murder. That's murder.
It is murder, but it's not his fault. It's the guy that
Now,
killed
I'm
him.
not saying it's first degree premeditated murder.
Involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, maybe it's involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, but there should be a charge there.
Maybe it is involuntary manslaughter, but this isn't a
He
situation
should
where
at least be fired. He should not be able to fucking have a badge no more. Okay,
I'll give you
maybe
that.
he doesn't go to jail. Maybe he.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
Because a police officer is always supposed to be aware of his backstop.
Thank you.
Every time a police officer in a confrontation with somebody with a weapon, they should always be aware of their backstop. That dude wasn't aware of his backstop. He may have killed a person, but it wasn't intentional, and it may have been manslaughter.
I get the adrenaline pumps, dude. I get the adrenaline pumps. You're in a firefight, dude. You're chasing a murder suspect.
Right. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
but you don't fire into a building.
He was firing at the police officer in the vehicle during the pursuit.
So
I think.
Hey, if you're a cop, sometimes you're gonna get shot at. Okay, that doesn't mean you could just recklessly shoot your gun into a grocery store.
Have you seen the video of the cop shooting through his front windshield?
All right, what if it hit one of your kids? You know, what if it hit your wife?
I would be pissed off, and I would demand for him to be fired, but I wouldn't.
I don't know differently about it. You would feel differently.
Probably. I mean, anybody would. It's their fucking kid.
That's what I mean. It was a reckless maneuver, and I think that goes back to training. Now, I think that
absolutely.
Now, I think that
maybe they should be held to a higher standard in that case.
Well, I think
because
that
they're trained.
I think that if you had a tangent to go on, I think now's the time to do it.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, let me take a piss and I'll be right back. But hold on.
Rock was trying to say something earlier.
Go ahead, Rock.
Maybe.
No,
my mindset was originally that the cop should have leniency because he's a cop, but maybe the cop should be held to a higher standard because they have the training. So in a situation where they do kill an innocent bystander, they're held for first-degree murder and they get life. If that was the situation,
so maybe second degree, yeah.
Murder.
I don't know, maybe like 30 years mandatory if you accidentally kill a civilian in a gunfight.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that would prevent a lot of this bullshit that's going on.
Yeah. What up, Rock?
I think that the suspect should actually receive all the charges based on causality to the environment he created.
Ooh,
okay.
But how?
I agree, but it should be that, and the cop should be held accountable for something.
You don't just fire into a group of people.
He should be held accountable the same as like a DUI. A person that is intoxicated goes and hits a family van, kills a kid. He gets 5 years in prison.
Right.
Well, that cop should get like 5 years in prison, but he shouldn't get his job revoked from him. He should be able to go back into his job after prison time.
Well, I don't know about that either, man.
A lot of you can't go to prison.
Hey, I'm about to shut this whole shit down. When we're going to war and soldiers do shit like this, they can go back. They send them back to do shit. Why is that any different with the police? Why would we not send someone back just because they made a mistake?
Because most wars we're in are illegal and they don't abide by laws, right? We have laws.
Yeah, they don't abide by
laws.
No, they don't.
They do.
He's been into the military. David's in the
UCMJ, man.
Well, there's a UCMJ, but I'm talking about combat on boots on the ground war. They don't abide by.
They might not abide by it, but there's still laws in place
here. Right.
I'm not saying they abide by, but aren't there laws in place?
Right. There are laws
supposed to abide by.
There's international agreements that we have for war.
David, you're thinking places of hazard. Yeah, it's places of hazard. If you're within the confines, if you reach a certain criteria of what a war zone meets, then you are in a place of hazard, and so therefore you have to abide by a certain amount of war laws.
It's not. You're not in the regular streets.
Yeah, exactly. But your commander or the person that is commanding the exact base you're on, it goes off of their rule of what they think that base should abide by.
But wait a second. Most felons
off.
If you go to prison for 5 years, you become a felon, right? Will the cop have a felony record?
It depends if he was charged with a felony charge. That's all it is. Felony just means
Can you go to prison for a misdemeanor?
Yes, you
For
can.
5 years?
Yes,
Really?
yes. Most marijuana charges that people go to jail on are misdemeanor charges.
For 5 years in prison. We're
Well,
talking about prison, not jail.
like for instance, if you get caught, if all right, just say you do a simple assault, right, in Maryland. A simple assault in Maryland, you can get up to 10 years in prison for one simple assault as a misdemeanor.
Not your first one.
You can't
third
go
one.
legally. You can't. It's not that. 99% of the time, it never happens. But the statute states, as a misdemeanor, a simple assault in Maryland is chargeable to 10 years in prison.
Right.
You can't. If the judge was an asshole and he wanted to, it'll probably never happen on our first offense. But if you're a 30-time offender and you commit a simple assault, they can lock you up for 10 years, man.
Because the most serious are felonies, the penalty for which can include a term in a state prison. Next are misdemeanors, the penalties for which can include up to 1 year in county jail.
The only difference between a misdemeanor and a felony is misdemeanors, you're either going to go to county or state prison.
But you're not going to prison. You're going to go to
jail.
If you create
up to 1 year of jail.
If you create a felony, you're going to go to a federal prison. The years don't matter. You can go to a state prison for 10 years on a misdemeanor. I'm telling you, you can.
Yes.
You can go to prison. You can go to prison for 10 years for a misdemeanor.
Yes.
Okay,
if you're a habitual offender,
yeah, first offense, it's not going to happen.
Go to prison for a misdemeanor.
But hang on, I feel like we're getting off track though.
My thing is that. But I only asked that because if you're going to jail, I thought after a year it becomes it's a felony or going to prison. But if you go to prison, most people can't come back out of prison and get a certain level job. So if the police officer goes there, he shouldn't be allowed to be able to have the same job because you can't go to prison and then come out and be a police officer. I agree. So why should you be able to go to prison if you've already been a police officer and come back?
I think Rock's kind of point was saying that you go in and you do your time, but and I kind of get where you're coming from, like the man shouldn't lose his job for it, but I think that he needs to find another career at that point. I just don't think,
Well, David, it's not the fact of him losing his job. It's the fact of is that police. It's like is that precinct going to hire him? You know what I mean? Right. It's not about him losing his job.
He can still try again, huh?
If he applies for a different police station, he's going to have to omit all that shit, and they're going to say, "Well, no, dude, we ain't hiring you. We can't risk that."
Just like the whole teacher thing.
Right.
In the military, you put on a restriction for a while, and then afterwards you go back to your job.
I think serving the military is a little different, though. Serving the military, they're like eventually you could be used.
Yeah, I'm just saying, utilize those kind of.
Yeah, but
why would the officer need to go to prison though? Why would he need to go to jail?
Because he killed somebody.
Yeah,
but shot recklessly into a crowd.
Well, I think
you shot recklessly.
Made a mistake.
If you were aiming at a bird and you shot somebody that was working on a fucking radio tower nearby.
Yeah, but the bird didn't just kill 3 people, and didn't just run from the police and shoot at them during the pursuit.
Okay,
but is it a mistake?
You're still held.
What I'm saying is, if you're out, just say you're out on your property, or you're out in the woods, you're out somewhere, and you're like shooting up at birds, and there's a dude working on a radio tower, and you shoot him by accident because you don't see his ass up on that radio tower. There's a good chance you're gonna fucking get charged for that.
Yeah, because you should be held accountable because you're holding a gun.
But isn't there?
So what's the law on hunters when they go hunting and they shoot a bear and?
Well, ask Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney.
I was about to say.
Dick Cheney shot his homeboy in the back. Hit him with the bird shot.
Hey, the bird shot. He said I was aiming at a bird, bro.
Hey, my fault. He was in front of the bird. He was in between me and the bird. You know what I'm saying?
Are there not protocols for situations when there's a group of people? And
are the penalties different when a hunter shoots somebody while he's hunting versus somebody just shooting somebody?
I think that's definitely taken into account.
Okay, so the same thing should be taken into account for the police officer.
But can we? I mean, but aren't there situations? Don't they train
Hunters don't hunt in front of a Trader Joe's, dog.
Can y'all
If
hear
a
me?
hunter was shooting a deer in front of a Trader Joe's
Yeah.
and killed somebody inside, he's going to prison.
That situation would never happen, Dave. That's a fucking crazy situation.
No,
We're
it's
talking
the
about
same
a police
exact thing. This
officer
guy, okay, the police
chasing
officer
somebody
hunting the
who was
criminal.
shooting at them.
Yes, the police officer hunting the criminal shoots him in front of a Trader Joe's, misses the criminal, and hits an innocent person.
What if that guy ran into the Trader Joe's and shot everybody in there?
Did he though? No, he held him hostage in there. He didn't shoot.
But
him.
if he did it and the cop didn't shoot at him, then who's responsible for all those people getting shot?
The cop didn't have a good shot. You don't have a good shot when there's. You are. He didn't have a good shot.
Aren't there
If he had a
protocols?
good shot, he would have shot him. It was a bad shot. He took a bad shot.
Yeah, he took a bad shot, definitely.
Yeah, eat it, Justin.
Was it a good shot?
Definitely should be
This happens every
reprimanded.
time, literally.
But it shouldn't be to the extent of a normal civilian.
Okay, so let's hear what you have to say about it, because there was a guy who was stopped by the police, and he ended up having a pistol and a clip on him. And you got this, Justin? You got the footage on this? Because I think we need to show it.
I guess
real
that's
quick.
the only thing I can do is just put up stuff. I'm not allowed to talk, huh?
Nope. So
were you trying to say something, Justin?
guy had a
No, don't worry about it.
guy had a pistol on him. Now I think this probably is a good shot. Guy had a pistol on him. Police told him to put his hands up.
So the police had already been called because there had been a guy walking around with a gun, brandishing it, or threatening people with a weapon. So the police were called, and his description matched the person that the person had called the police on. So they tried to apprehend him, and during that, the scuffle happened. His shirt came up. Obviously, you could see the gun in the magazine there in his waistband. He reached for it, and the cops lit his motherfucking ass up.
Now you're done at that point. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You're ready to go.
You've seen the guns now.
All right, now he's reaching for it. You could see where the gun was on his waistband. You could see.
Why didn't he get behind the SUV and get cover at least? Like,
He was ready to die. That's what it was.
ready to die, dude. Ready to go.
Or he was ready to protect himself.
He had his ID in his
But
hand.
if he was protecting himself, he would have went behind the SUV. He went the wrong direction before he tried to pull the
He
gun.
got scared. Another police officer pulled up.
Man, you walking around with that pistol on that clip, you ain't scared of nothing, man. He out here fucking.
I mean, do we know was he? Is it
No,
legal?
I don't know. I don't know if he was scared or not.
No, do we know if he had legal right to carry a gun? He had the clip separate.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you do have a lethal.
But you don't reach for it in front of a cop.
You don't reach for it anymore.
You take, in order to get your CCW, you take classes.
Yeah, that's one
They
thing.
tell you in your class if you ever come in confrontation with police officers how to act.
I'll
Just
take
do
the
that
cop
act.
shot every time on that, because you're reaching for a gun, you're ready to die. We're gonna. I bet my gun's faster than yours.
Blum.
Hey, he was strapped up like a police officer.
Yeah,
For
he
real.
was ready to rock, dude.
And he
Yeah,
got a six-pack. That nigga was
And
ripped.
he had some abs on it. Dude. Fucking working out.
I don't know if he has to eat or he be working out.
God damn.
Y'all are gay as hell. Put up my screen.
Hey, I'm just saying, Jesus Christ.
He was ripped. He was ripped. God damn. He need a belt. All right, so the title of my rant is BLM SJW WL SISOB. And that stands for Black Lives Matter, Social Justice Warrior, Wannabe Loser, Scientifically Illiterate Sons of Bitches.
Hey, Chief, take this off the screen, bro.
Is it still have to deal with this?
Nah,
Yeah.
don't. He's going on his tangent though.
No, he said it has to deal with this though.
It does. You can keep it rolling. Whatever.
They got more pictures, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I just want to see Dante talk.
Yeah, I
So-
want to see Dante talk too. Matter of fact, let me present him. Now you're presented, bro. Let's go.
Sweet. All right, so everybody saw that video, and everybody that protested that evening, I think it was Chicago, also saw that video. How were they honestly out there protesting if they saw that video? You tell me. How could anybody honestly be out there protesting Black Lives Matter after they saw that video?
Because, I mean, honestly,
It's a tangent. Let him finish.
Oh,
no,
no, I
it's
thought you was
okay.
asking a question.
I do it so you can interject. It's not.
Oh, okay. I thought you were literally asking a question.
No, go ahead. I do it so you can interject. Go ahead. Say what you were gonna say.
I mean, from the video I saw, I mean, it's just getting to a point nowadays where, of course, we know what we're supposed to do. Of course, when a cop pulls up, like, we have those rules that you're supposed to follow. But with everything going on nowadays, like, from the video, it shows them walking up on them. As soon as they walked up on them, they start grabbing them. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, especially being a black person nowadays. Like, you can't just sit there and be like, you know you're not supposed to reach for things, and you know you're supposed to abide by what they're saying. Like, nowadays, you can do all that stuff and still die. Like, I can understand why in his head, especially having a gun, he's like, oh, shit, I don't know what's going on. They just ran up on me, grabbed me. I need to get the fuck out of here. And they already had their pistols drawn on him. Like, you, of course, we're able to be, like, looking out from a person in a different perspective. You can evaluate the situation and be like, this is what he should have did. But if you have 3 cops pulling up on you, grabbing you, and then another SUV pulling up, you're already thinking in your head, I'm gone anyway, so I might as well do what I can to get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so we have to pretense the whole video with, and I stated this earlier, that the cops were called to the scene because someone called the cops because a man matching his description had threatened or brandished a weapon, and the person that called the cops had seen the gun. And that's why all those cops were there. They didn't just approach him because he was walking down the street. They approached him because a lady called the cops and said, there's a dude with dreadlocks with a black shirt and blue jeans that kind of got rips in him, and he's walking down the street threatening people with a weapon, or he threatened me with a weapon. I don't know what the caller said, but the cops weren't there just because there was a black dude walking down the street.
I understand that.
Because there was a specific description of a person with a weapon. And then when he lifted his shirt up, there's the weapon. That's definitely the dude.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I get the mind state of a black man being pulled over by a bunch of fucking white police officers. But in a situation where a black man has, and you said he could have been, or he could have been registered. We don't know if he was registered or not. But like I said, anybody that has a registered weapon has gone through the protocol of learning, taking classes, going through hours of classes. Like people, you very, very seldom find a person that's in the NRA that's irresponsible with a weapon, because they are so frowned upon that you'll get your ass kicked if you like pull your weapon out with your finger on the trigger. You'll get fucking your ass kicked. Like people that own guns and like that are around guns all the time, they don't tolerate negligence around weapons.
No doubt.
That's how you fuck it up for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So when, like, how is anybody supposed to take Black Lives Matter serious when you see a video like this of somebody acting like this around the police and then they kill them, and now you're out there protesting saying the cops are killing innocent black people?
This isn't every incident.
Was he innocent? I mean, he didn't kill nobody, but he damn sure threatened to. And if it's me in a situation,
do we have that call that we
no, we don't have a call. And everything that I said about the call was something that I had completely made up in my head. It wasn't anything that I heard of. The only thing that I heard about the call was that there was a person with a weapon, and that's why the cops were called to the scene, because there was a call. Somebody had called about somebody with a gun.
And this was in
obviously out of his mind, one way or the other. Okay.
This was in Chicago, where every black person has a gun.
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Okay.
That, like, when the cops come to a scene where somebody's supposed to have a gun, the cops are expecting to have a fucking gunfight.
In Chicago, I agree.
400 people or something have died in Chicago already this year.
It's pretty ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
And
they have the strictest gun laws in America.
Yeah, they say you can get a gun in Chicago for like $20.
At the fucking corner store.
You can get a gun for free. You can get a gun for free if you go up to your homie and be like, hey, cuz, I need that. Let me get that. I got to handle something. Oh, you got to handle that, cuz? All right. You ain't get this from me, though.
Throw this joint away when you done.
Right.
Then another
scratch the serial numbers.
Oh, remember that gun I gave you? Remember that gun I gave you?
I bore the barrel and scratch the serial numbers. It's done.
So I see these prayer groups, and I see these pictures of lost ones, and I see people crying on television about how the cops didn't have to do that and how they could have tased them, and I see the fucking candles lit, and then I see a fucking syringe next to the fucking teddy bear for Day Day, and it got in a fucking Natty Light can next to those pictures for Elmar, and I get it. Like, these people grow up in the hood. Like, I get the product of the environment mindset. Like, I fucking understand it. Like, I totally get it. But like we were talking about earlier, these people have never fucking left
their hood. They
left
think
that. That's literally all they know. So I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. Can we blame them? Like,
do you think the cops would have acted different if it was a person of another race?
Nope.
White.
Well, I mean that when you bring that
I don't
up,
think
like,
so.
when it comes to the hood, like all these
No.
cops are living like in
If a white man reached for his gun,
40
he would
miles
have been
outside
shot
of the
dead.
places that they're patrolling. Why is that?
Would have been shot,
Because none of the niggas in the hood want to be police officers. It's frowned upon. Nobody from the hood is a police officer.
No one wants to be. There are some people.
some.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Right, but the people who police the hood aren't from there. Like I think
No, they can't be.
I think that police.
There would never be there would never be a situation where that would happen when it comes to that atmosphere, when it comes to the hood, because that's just something that you just don't do. Like you don't talk to the police. You don't snitch in the hood. You know what the hood rules is? Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't snitch on a man that killed your man because you're gonna handle that. You don't need the police to handle that.
No doubt.
So I get that. I get that part, but like how is anybody supposed to take it serious though? Like
that's why I say, I'm sorry, I don't know. My bad.
Nah, go ahead.
I don't understand. I don't understand why we have all of these lethal weapons, but we have so many. If people are this concerned about people being hurt constantly, why do we still have these lethal weapons? We have rubber bullets, we have tasers, we have so many ways to put down people without having to just kill them. We could get.
They have the lethal weapons. They have the lethal weapons. You gotta come.
I mean, that's true. I get that. I get that.
Get shot with a gun and still attack.
I get it. I'm just saying. I just don't understand the whole world. Like even the evil people. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I don't know.
Personally, I think they should have
to be understood.
It's because when you acquire enough shit that you own that somebody else wants, then you need to arm yourself to protect yourself.
You gotta take the view off so you can see everybody.
I thought I did.
Yeah, switching back and forth with everybody.
You look good though.
All right, what about now?
You've been working
out.
All
right, let me just conclude this real quick. So I think that the Black Lives Matter and the social justice warriors, I think they're all talking to the wrong people. I think that they're kind of reflecting themselves onto whoever they call their enemies, and I think that the Black Lives Matter people need to be going in the hood and stopping traffic on MLK, or 15th and Lenox, or 17th and East Monroe, instead of fucking University Parkway. And you know what I mean? That they need to be going to the hoods and saying Black Lives Matter and not trying to get on Fox News. You know what I mean? Like they're talking to the wrong people. Black Lives Matter people need to be talking to Black lives, not white lives, because right now all those statistics y'all hear about the cops killing people, okay, so 15 black guys a year getting killed by cops is terrible. You know how many white guys get killed by cops every year?
It's 15 black guys getting killed by cops every month. It's not a year.
No, okay, but how many of those 15? Okay, so I said on YouTube, this is actually part of my rant. I said on YouTube a couple weeks ago at my job, and I literally about 10 o'clock in the morning, from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I just looked at YouTube videos of police
that sounds horrible.
officer involved shootings where the person either died or just got shot and sent to the hospital. Do you know how many fucking black people that I saw that got shot? It was all the ones that were on mainstream media. The guy that reached for his wallet and got shot. The dude that, you know what I'm saying? It was all the ones that were on TV. The rest of them were white, Mexican, white, Mexican, Native American, white. Almost every video that I watched, it was the cop shooting a white dude. Occasionally, I would come across the one where it was like a light-skinned person, and I couldn't tell what race they were. But I literally watched YouTube for, I don't know, 6 hours, and I came across, I can count on two hands how many videos I came across where a black person got shot by a police officer, and it was arguable if they should have been shot or not.
Okay, 27.
Maybe five where it shouldn't have happened.
Okay, listen. 2017 to current day, White people are 668. Blacks are 325. But if you do the math, that's probably pretty even across the board. Hispanics are 230 something. So,
it's still twice as many white people, though, right?
It's twice as many white people. There's twice as many white people in the world.
Right, there are more white people, so that's statistic.
It's skewed, but it's still not far-fetched to believe it's just the way it went down. I mean, I don't think black people are as targeted as what Black Lives Matter wants you to be.
But that's the thing, though. Black people are targeted, though, and that's the point of this. Like, there are cops that are specifically targeting black people. Like, there are cops pulling over black people because they look suspicious because they're driving an old school caddy and they got a beard and they got a hat on. So I'm gonna pull this nigga over because his tail light is out, or I'm gonna pull this nigga over because his tag light is out. I've seen video. I watched a video where a white cop, pulled over a black man because he said his tag light was out, and the black guy got out of his car.
I saw it, yeah.
And filmed himself looking at his tag light and said, "My tag light is working. You pulled me over because my fucking tag light was out. My tag light is working." Like, the cop didn't like him getting out of his car and looking at the, but he did it anyway. He probably could have got shot because he had his phone. The phone could have been a gun. But like, there's actually white cops targeting black people, pulling them over, and harassing them because they're black. But when you see shit like this dude,
up to more shit,
huh?
What do you think it depends on the area, and depending on the area, it's because that most black people be up to no good?
No. Well, yeah, it definitely depends on the area. Like, you can ask.
Does that make it right?
A black cop in PG County, what area?
Oh no, I don't agree with that. No, I don't.
If I go to Southeast or if I go to Berry Farms, I know that I need to be watching my fucking back and shit. But that wasn't the point. The point was that, like, you see people, like, you see the Black Lives Matter protesting for this guy that got shot. And then what the fuck, man? Y'all just need to shut the fuck up because it's.
Oh, okay, and that's what I was going to say too. I mean, I believe that even if I was in that same situation, say I was the person who did that, there are still going to be some people who are going to protest just because they knew me. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It just puts it on Black Lives Matter people because they probably use that to their advantage of why they're out there. But I mean,
yeah, I get that, but that's not okay.
You're saying if they're going to do that, they should have done it a different way. If they're going to put Black Lives Matter behind it, they should have.
If you're going to do Black Lives Matter in situations like this, where this black man obviously was strapped up and ready to shoot a police officer, be truthful. Be like, okay, this was a situation where a black man was killed. In a situation where the black man was killed, where it was rightfully just and he served, but this is wrong. This is not okay. You know what I mean? Like, instead of
when the right thing is done, praise the right thing done. Okay, when the wrong thing is done, even though the little girl was shot on a drive-by, girl and died.
See, that's fucked
and
up.
Nobody protested on the little. But since a cop was involved and that fits the agenda, then we're gonna rock with that, right?
Yep.
So, and that means you lose all credibility in my book because you're not looking at the world through a square eye, man. You looking at it through. Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
No, you're good. That's why I have my hand up. Whenever you're done, man.
Yeah.
So, I am not by any means justifying any of these situations that we're talking about, but you do have to keep in mind if, let's say, hypothetically, let's say I'm super racist. Okay, it's not illegal to be racist.
Hypothetically.
It's I know you're racist. I am not a racist.
We fucking know you're a racist.
No, but for real though, you guys, like if I'm a racist,
yeah, like you are,
and I really do think on some Hitler shit that black people should be dead, that black people don't have rights, that black people aren't human, that black people aren't this, that, and the third. The only way I can publicly get away with this shit is if I become a police officer. So all the people who are thinking this type of way, this fucked up, psychotic type of way, this is literally kind of the only outlet they have to where I can't wait until I have a chance to beat up a black dude. Like, that might be all they're thinking about all day.
Yep.
Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell him his tail lights out, then break it, and then find any reason to beat this dude up because I'm just
cowboy. Yeah.
I'm just going to get salary. I'm going to get paid time off. And my other racist buddies in power, they're putting themselves in these positions intentionally. Now, is that correct? Absolutely not. But that is a big percentage of what's going on.
But it is
what's
correct.
wild? You know what's wild, though?
Real quick, because to piggyback on that, it is correct because I showed Dante this and he's looked it up too. The FBI did a report back in 2006.
Hold on, I didn't hear what you said.
The FBI did a report back in 2006, 2007 that
change the screen.
They went nationwide. I did change it. They went nationwide. What is it? Is it good now?
I got everybody at the top, and everybody who's talking is big screen. We need to switch
me too.
Like mine's showing 6 blocks.
I guess everybody needs to do it. Everybody go up to change the speaker view.
It should say speaker view when you look at the top.
Yeah, I see everybody.
At first, it was just the main person talking. I didn't know if it was doing.
I think Dave. I think you said that because mine said to see everyone, but it's still doing this.
I don't know.
I see everybody now that I changed.
Oh, hang on.
Change it. Yeah, you got to change it.
Where is it? How do you change it?
Go up to the top right corner.
Gallery, top right. Gallery view.
Exit full screen.
Click the button.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Back to what you're saying.
So the FBI did a report and released it, and it said white supremacists are infiltrating law enforcement at an alarming rate. They released their whole investigation back in 2006, 2007. So is it any coincidence that we're having all these issues now? No, it was the FBI investigated. It's a real thing. It's really happening. So what Zach's saying, what Zeus is saying is, yes, it is true.
There was a
putting this in law enforcement.
And I'm not saying that it isn't true.
But it's not every cop and it's not every situation. But
it's situations like this where they're protesting Black Lives Matter and cops
got shot.
That's the real thing. That's the real thing we need to key on.
Serious when they're defending bullshit garbage.
Yeah.
All I just think though, now are defending bullshit garbage.
I think it's just it don't matter what's going on. I don't think Black Lives Matter.
People are protesting stupid garbage. Okay, it's garbage. There's two. We know there's only 2, male, female, right? Everybody knows that. We don't need.
No, I identify as a lamp. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Male, female, lamps. And if I ever get the chance to turn you on, bro, just let me know. That knob is
just hit that switch, baby. You hit that switch.
Knob is mine.
You guys are fags.
Yo, isn't it? It's so wild. I feel like it's so wild knowing that, like. Coming from how, like, because Zach's speaking on knowing actual white people who are, like, racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing that people can have that type of mentality. But, like,
I've never met anyone that wants to kill people like that, though.
But, like, actual racism. Like, you know people that just don't believe black people are. But I feel like it's so wild because black people don't have that mentality. Or most black people, especially ones I've ever met, don't have a mentality of, I don't like this type of race because I believe they're this type of people. So like, it's hard to. It's a lot of times it's hard.
Well, no, there's a difference between being racist and being prejudiced. I didn't mean to cut you off, Justin. But some people are prejudiced. Like a lot of black people are prejudiced, but they aren't necessarily racist. Like
you can't be racist if you're the person
but not necessarily racist.
Power. You can.
But I feel like
I disagree with that, Dave.
I feel like as a black person, it kind of blows my mind that there are people out there that are like that. So like I feel like it's easier for Zach to be like, yeah, there's people that feel that way. But to me, it's like I don't really meet people, especially black people, who are like, yo, I'm about to I fucking
no.
So it blows our mind that there's people out here just.
I don't meet very many white people that are like that either. Like I personally they may feel that way and they just don't tell me.
But we don't surround ourselves. I mean, I feel like I don't.
But I do though. Like I did when I lived in Maryland, but now like I'm around all kinds of people. I'm around people that admittedly used to use the N-word freely. Like didn't like black people. They moved from West Virginia to Florida. And they've met my family and other people around.
Justin, that's one person, man. I've also met on the same spectrum. I've also met white people that were friends with me, that were cool and laughed and joked, and we had good times. And they come to find out they were racist as fuck one night when they got drunk. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
fucked
yeah.
up. No, but listen,
Like,
this is
it
where I
happens
got
both
this from.
ways.
This is where I got this from. Obviously, because I'm a white dude, but for the most part,
Hold
there
on,
was,
you're white?
there was a high up. There's
Like,
a no. It's talking about me knowing white people and hearing how racist they can be and shit. But that's not even where it's coming from. There's a police officer that was high up and a high-ranking officer in Baltimore, and it came out that he was like a high rank in the KKK.
Right.
Like he worked for 30 some odd years to get that position, and he was one of the leaders of the KKK. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's insanity. Like not even.
But what black people create? I mean, I guess this. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not saying, but
No,
you're
I'm not saying anything's wrong with what you're saying. I'm just saying it's crazy. Like that's just
Well-
wild.
Well, no,
I just-
that's what I was saying, Justin. Like,
that.
there's a difference between being racist. Like, black people aren't racist. We can't be racist because we don't see ourselves as, I don't know, like, it's just a different mindset. We aren't racist. Some of us may be prejudiced, but like, I see what you're saying. Like, we don't have that in us to be like that. You know what I mean? But the
Like
white
create a
people,
group to like be like we're all the
Yeah.
race haters.
yeah, we don't have that in us to do that. That's not.
But
in
there's
our,
people
It
that
happened to be my
like,
whole life.
That's why it blows. But that's what I'm saying. I think that's why it blows.
those are
black
racist
people's
people.
mind.
Those
That's
are
why
the
it blows
racist
black people's minds so much. We'll be like, we can't believe there are fucking police officers out here that just want to kill black people. We're like, what's going on? But like to a regular, like not just putting it on all white people, but like to white people, you actually have most white people have come across people that like, yeah, I fucking hate niggas and I can't wait to kill a nigger. Like, there's no, I've never in my life met a black person that's just like, I hate white people and I can't.
I've never met a white person like that either. Not to the point. Not
I'm
like.
not saying,
But at the same time,
not
you've heard
even to the point of.
you heard a black person say, "Fuck these crackers, man. Fuck these old crack ass crackers."
But that's
This
only
person
because.
It's the same thing.
But I mean,
pork right.
but those same black people will go up to them white people and be like, "Oh, they not too bad." I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't say.
Yes,
That's why I was
yes,
No.
Always, there's always another side.
Because those aren't
There's always
racist people.
another side.
The thing is this.
They aren't racist, Justin.
Most is most, right? Most people I come across, and most people y'all come across, we all get
Being
along.
racist, right?
Yeah.
The majority, right? What happens is in this country, we let minority issues take over the big theme. Most people are middle of the road. Don't give a fuck. Let me go to my job. Let me make my money. Let me vacation once or twice a year. Let me go to the pool. Let me swim around a little bit. Man, we're going to have a good time. Yeah, I work with a black dude. He can come to the barbecue. I don't give a fuck. Like, we all going to have a good time. It don't matter. You're a black dude. The white dude I work with, he's going to come to the barbecue. It don't matter. Like, most people
Well, you're
are
white,
like
so people probably don't know about you.
People are, but I'm saying most people are like that. Most.
No, I believe that.
The
I
reason
believe
that we don't really see it is because they're the minority, and we let a minority opinion dictate the majority opinion on the mainstream, dude. And
Because
that's
it's so
where,
crazy that we're just
technology exasperated that.
right,
Technology
exactly
exasperated
right.
that
Yes.
because
It was kind of bad timing and perfect timing at the same time.
Yes, it was.
because it all happened.
I mean, also to a point, because it's also in history of like that it's still more like with slavery and the KKK and killing black people. It's still more
person though, man. This is for everybody, and this is
people don't think that way anymore. The majority of people don't.
I'm not putting this on anything. I was just
saying. If you go into the garage of most people I know and you start slinging around that kind of language, dude, they're gonna kick you the fuck out, dude.
No, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that's how the world is. I was just stating the fact that my mind was just blown. Like, just because I feel like I hear Zach. Like, I hear, like, not to just put you out there or anything, but you literally be like, yes, bro, I know actual racist white people that do not like black people, right?
No, that just make comments and say shit that I would never say.
Right. Well, then never mind. I'll just then never mind.
I
feel like I heard you say that, but I don't know.